Can everyone
Yeah, and I would say in the interest of time and making sure we cover everything that needs to be covered, why don't we get going? Please take it away.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Roger. So firstly, a good day and a very warm welcome to United Way One-on-One and Campaign Basics. It is an honor to host you this afternoon and to have one and all of you here. Before we proceed, I just want to thank you all for your dedicated time and also for your dedication of being this amazing campaign volunteer. Before we proceed with our presentation, I believe it's important for me to acknowledge the land I'm calling in from today. You are more than welcome to also share in the chat where you are calling in from today. I'd like to acknowledge and offer my gratitude to my gratitude to the Musqueam, apologies, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh people and the Coquitlam First Nation on the traditional land where I live, play, and work. We'd love to know where you're calling in from today, so please share that as well. Some housekeeping rules for today. As you know, at the very onset, you heard we will now be recording. So just to let you know, we're recording today's session. If you also would like the recording afterwards, please do reach out to your campaign manager and we'll make sure we have that for you. We have a chat feature, so please use that for any questions. We'll be monitoring that during the presentation and we would love to answer those questions. We appreciate everyone's mics off as we have our presenters, and we would appreciate if you would like to keep your camera on. We want lots of questions because we believe that as we learn, the best way to learn is through a question. So please ask away. And at the same time, we will have a question section at the end. So today's session is being led by three amazing campaign managers, if I may say so myself. Before I introduce myself, I'd like to introduce Lena. And I'd also like to introduce Amber. You can wave out there. Lena, if you'd like to say a few words, please go for it in introducing yourself, just so everybody can get to know you a little.
Hi, everyone. My name's Lena. I have been with United Way this will be my fourth campaign. And I've worked with a number of different accounts through different campaigns. I just finished up the TransLink bus drivers campaign, which was really fun. It's sort of the first campaign of the season. And we got to 99% of our goals. We're really trying to push for a little bit further to reach 100%, but it's my first campaign with them. And I'm really excited to see how they've been doing, and it's getting me in the campaign spirit.
Thank you very much, Lena. I'd also ask Amber to kindly introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amber. I come from United Way firstly as a community engagement specialist for 3 years, and I've just joined the campaign team 2 months ago. So it's my first campaign. So I'm very excited to jump in with you guys today.
Thank you very much, Amber. And lastly, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Vishal Deeplal. I'm also a campaign manager. I've come out of the community side as well as a community builder with United Way last year and joined the campaign team this year. It's my first campaign season, so I'm very excited. But that being said, I'd like to also just tell you of the success we've just had on our internal campaign, where I was lucky enough to co-chair with a fellow campaign manager, Andrew, and it went successfully well, where we surpassed our goal by over $10,000. That being said, let's get the show on the road. Our agenda today is pretty simple. We have booked 1.5 hours, The idea is to have enough time for questions at the end and give you back as much time that you need. I will be presenting on United Way, about us, and some of our initiatives and impact. Thereafter, I will hand you over to Lena. I'll hand you over to Amber, who will be talking of our 8 steps to a successful campaign. Lena will just discuss resources. And at the very end, we would welcome all those questions. Please remember, as we proceed with today's presentation, if you have a question at any time, please raise a hand. We are all here to answer. We have many campaign managers in the room, and we want to make this as exciting for you and knowledgeable for you as possible to make your campaign an absolute success. United Way. So the reason why we're here today, let's be honest, is for United Way. Recently, now known as United Way BC, 6 United Ways have come together to make sure that together we can do more across the province. We serve 32 municipalities, and what's so amazing about what United Way does is 100% of all the investments stay local. United Way believes in helping British Columbians. We believe in making sure our communities thrive for everyone. Our mission, which is a very important one that actually drew me to why I wanted to be part of United Way, was a healthy, caring, inclusive community. And there's no doubt it prides me to be part of that. The United Way BC promise is we strengthen vital connections that support people in our local communities. I did mention to you that I've come out of the lens of a community builder, and I've seen firsthand the amazing work that United Way has done to each of our communities on the ground level. As we move forward, I know last year was a very challenging year, but what's so amazing is the positive impacts that have come out of that. And today, I do believe that I'll be failing in my duty if I do not tell you about some of these amazing impact initiatives and stories and where United Way has invested all the amazing contributions and donations that have come in. Our first partnership is our food partnerships. Last year, amidst many individuals losing jobs, also we had school closures where people had to stay at home, look after their kids. We found that food insecurity was one of the major issues across the Lower Mainland and Fraser Valley. United Way worked very quickly, and we all know the famous word from last year, pivot, to pivot and make sure that a food security team hit the ground, investing in agencies that already existed and making sure that these agencies were turned into local love food hubs for each community. It's with much pride that I tell you they supported 152 local love food hubs across the Lower Mainland and Fraser Valley. It's even more exciting to let you know that over 3.7 million meals were served, almost 500,000 food hampers were delivered, and over 70,000 grocery vouchers. But what made it even more amazing that individuals in these communities were served with such, and I would say, respect to them, because meals were made if you had any dietary requirements, if you had any religious requirements. We made sure agencies served you with respect, and it was all done with no barrier. It prides me to tell you that now we work with 17 local love food hubs across the province. Mental health and wellness. As a parent, I know exactly what this means, not only for kids at school age, but also for younger adults. We had such a large amount of youth that were affected during this time. And it prides me to tell you that yet again, United Way was at the forefront, making sure that mental health and mental wellness was definitely dealt with at agencies across the province. From women, children, youth, we made sure that anybody who required services were, without any barrier, connected to a program or an organization that they needed straight away. Hi Neighbor. So if anybody doesn't know about the Hi Neighbor initiative, Hi Neighbor is an initiative created by United Way that exists in numerous communities across the Lower Mainland. What was so amazing was last year, United Way reached out and created a community builder. It prides me that I was one of them, and I know exactly what work went to in each community. As a community builder, we made sure we connected community members with resources that they needed straight away. We had over 30 community builders across the Lower Mainland, and they made sure from grocery shopping to pharmacy pickups to a friendly phone call, we connected volunteers in our community to agencies to our community to people in need of our community. This initiative was definitely a heartfelt one on the forefront. I would just like to tell you a story that relates to me when it comes to the Hi Neighbor initiative as a community builder. So as a community builder, I had many families reach out to me to ask for help in many different ways or avenues that they required. One family was a newcomer family who had just moved from England, and we assisted them with making sure that we could help them with food deliveries and hampers on a weekly basis. It prides me to tell you that today, this amazing mom who went through a year of our help and then was back on her feet is one of our main volunteers at our local food hub to date. There's nothing more amazing than seeing a full circle development of a community. And there's no doubt that United Way saw the asset in the community builders for last year. Safe seniors and strong communities. Last year, we really knew, and as we move forward this year into this pandemic and rising numbers, we know that at the end of the day, the most vulnerable population was our seniors. We helped many seniors in the way I mentioned, from connecting them with groceries to connecting them with somebody picking up for them their pharmacy medication. We had this going on for over a year and a half. And then it prides me to tell you that when BC 211, that came up from the BC government through the Ministry of Health, came to light, I knew the asset this would be for the seniors in our community. I myself, being a community builder and having had so many seniors in our community have my number, called up to say, Vishad, this is amazing. This works. I'm getting the help I need. And I can't thank you enough. What's amazing about this, it is province-wide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we can create the service for our community members. So when I say your impact, our inclusive workplace campaigns raised $23.7 million last year. These funds were put back into local communities where we have seen the great work. We have our community members that have experienced the impact of this in receiving a food hamper to a grocery hamper to the aid on the end of a call. I just, on behalf of United Way BC, want to thank you for your time, your commitment. As Roger mentioned at the very onset, that at the end of the day, it is a volunteer opportunity. So thank you for your time and thank you for being part of our workplace community. Thank you for also everything you do. I'd like to now hand you over to my colleague Amber, who would work through the 8 steps of your successful campaign. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vishal. Thanks for sharing the stories. So I'm going to go through with you the 8 steps to a successful campaign. I know most of you have ran a campaign with us before, but we'll go over some of the Coles notes, and then I want to get some of your feedback as well, so we can be a bit interactive today. If we can move to the next slide. Okay, so for this year, obviously with the COVID world, last year a lot of people did most of their campaigns online, but with this year, with some of the restrictions being lifted, I think the first and foremost is determining if you're going to have in-person campaigns, virtual or hybrid. Sorry, I need to turn off my notifications. I'm getting a bunch of messages dinging in the background. First and foremost, it would be to determine if you're going to do a virtual campaign, in-person or hybrid, which is obviously a bit of both. Sometimes it's better to review what happened last year and what worked best, and then you can determine what you want to do moving forward. And next one. So recruit your team. Obviously you want to make this fun. So you want to be doing this with people that want to be involved. Obviously start to create some subcommittees too. Some people want to kind of pull out their art and fun side. Other people want to get their creative stuff going. So with that, you would like to reach out to people from last year, but also bring in some new people too. There's been a lot of changes, obviously, in the last year or so, 18 months. Some people have been working from home, so this is kind of a great way to get team building up and running again, connect with your colleagues again, and kind of make it fun. So next slide, elevator pitch. So I put this little picture of the dog in here, mostly because sometimes the elevator pitch is kind of the most important part when you're trying to recruit new people to help you. You want to go in and give them enough information, but you don't want to bore them either. So kind of determining what it is that would suit them best, being part of the campaign with you, and explaining to them, the top 3 things that you feel would be best for them to help you with the campaign. Next slide. So review last year's goals or results and set this year's goals. So like Lena said earlier, at the very beginning when she was introducing herself today, the campaign that she just did, they set a goal, they set the bar a little bit higher this year, and they ended up reaching that goal. So sometimes when you think you can't do better than last year, you usually can, especially in today's environment. Like we were saying, a lot of people, they just want to have that human connection again with their team and colleagues. So sometimes it's good to sit down and evaluate how you reached the goals last year, and then determine how you can make that just a little bit higher this year. Sometimes you can reach out for leadership as well, and doing leadership gifts, which will sometimes be able to be matched within the corporation. Okay, so on to leadership. With that being said, with the leadership, inspiring people to make donations. Sometimes organizations will have 2 or 3 people that will set the leadership goals at the very beginning, and then the rest of the campaign, people can follow suit to make sure that they reach individual goals, but also sometimes there can be a team setting where one team versus another team can reach the goal of the leadership level. Next slide. And recruit a leader chair. So I put Ella in here. which is our little Frenchie that likes to come to lots of events. So she's kind of a leader in the community, but you also want to pick somebody that's a leader in your organization, someone that's able to talk on why they like to give back to United Way, and the reasons they've done so in previous years, and also why they're moving forward and continuing to do so. I also put this other picture on the right here. If you notice, that's Vishad, who's much taller than me, standing next to me in the picture. The reason why I put this in is this is a leader in the community who decided to host an event with us at a hockey arena and in support of giving back to United Way. So this is someone who had set a goal for herself, came out, did it, and exceeded it, but with flying colors. So sometimes you just need that one person that spearheads it, and then everybody else can follow suit with you. Next slide. And then seeing your impact. So with that, with impact speakers are great, depending on what you feel your organization or business, kind of going back to your core values of engaging with the staff and your colleagues to see who it is that's being part of the committees and what it is that they want to give back to community. So with that, you can work with your CM to determine who would be the best impact speaker for you, whether it could be for food hubs, programs for youth or seniors. With that, you can determine who would be the best speaker, as well as we can also send you videos and supports with that too. So feel free to make sure you reach out to us at any time for that to help with your campaign. And again, with the videos and blog posts and all that type of stuff, we can always give you that collateral. So make sure you're, yeah, don't hesitate to reach out to us for that stuff. Okay, and make it fun. That's the best part. You want to make it fun. As I said earlier, a lot of this year, I'm finding everybody I'm speaking to, they want to use this as team building. Everybody being face-to-face again, making things fun. I think we've all seen a lot go on in our communities over the last 18 months and ways that we want to help and give back. So with that, we're able to also make it fun and have stuff like online cooking classes. I know we did one internally here. It was a huge event. There are a few organizations doing scavenger hunts within their own communities, so that they can actually see the impact that's been made in the community over the last year. And along with the Wine Survivor Challenge, which I know has always been a big hit for most places. So just being a bit creative with your team and coming up with new ideas. You can always, like I said, reach out to us too. And I think it would be good to turn. I was wondering if anybody wants to jump in to maybe share something that they did last year that they feel that they may choose to do again this year. No. Are you unmuting yourself, Ishad?
Well, I was going to unmute myself because I thought it would be nice for us just to tell everybody on this exciting topic about the scavenger hunt that we had at internal campaign, which was, again, just fun. One of our other campaign managers who's on this call, Jen Cowden, she actually headed it, and it was a great interactive piece, which was so much of fun. Jen, do you want to chime in a little bit about what you did?
Yeah, for sure. So I worked with a coworker, Norman. Him and I came up with a list of questions. We had we had exactly 17 different questions, actually. It wasn't it was 17. And we made them we wanted to be able to include everybody across the province. So we kind of made them questions like, take a walk in your favorite park, or show us your favorite hiking spot, or show us your favorite breakfast or lunch, that kind of thing. And we included things as well, like recent books that you've read, so that people really got to know one another. They got to see their areas that they were in. So we saw some wonderful places over on the island. some fabulous places up in northern BC and the interior, just across the entire province. And then it was a chance for us to get to know people as well. We use Teams as our sort of our base. So we posed the questions there as different conversations, and then people submitted their photos. We had over 500 photos submitted. It was just amazing, and it was such an excellent way to get to know people, like I said. And then it started all these conversations going, and people were asking people about the books, and hey, can I get the recipe for that lunch that you showed us what you ate? And it was just all these fantastic fun things that were being done, and it was really good. And then having Norman and I looking after it together, it was made it a little bit more manageable for us, and we got to track all the photos, and then we awarded points to people and all that kind of stuff. But I think at the end of the day, the most rewarding part was really getting to know people. So it was lots of fun. I highly recommend it.
Okay, I agree with Jen. Jen and Norman did a phenomenal job, and it was very special because some of us work colleagues as well started in a virtual world. We actually got hired in a virtual world where we actually haven't met anybody in person yet, but it actually brought in a really special personal component to actually getting to know each other on a personal level. And like, I know now, for example, where Jen hikes or where Amber walks or where Lena goes to, like, it was a great piece to add to a campaign. So that's definitely one of the ones I'd like to bring to you, Amber.
Great, thank you. And would anybody else like to share that's not internally in United Way? Or I'd love to hear some of the ideas that you guys came up with last year.
I saw one of our ECCs from last year, Lana, they did a dunk tank actually, which is something that if you have people that you really want to see get wet and dunked, that can be something that is super fun, not only to participate in, but to watch and just see all the people that are getting wet. So that was a really popular one that they did for sure.
Right, and I just saw online poker tournament as well. That's a fun one. Have to get up in a poker skills again.
Yeah, that one looks fun.
Without being able to go to Vegas anymore, but you can do it at work. Was there anybody else that wants to put some in the chat at all, or no? I'm just wondering if any of the other CMs want to share some that have come up.
I think last year, hey everybody, my name is Andrew. I'm one of the campaign managers as well. I work with the professional services portfolio. Last year, quite a few of the partners that I work with really made use of some fun little video edits, and they recognized that a really great way to bring people together who may not be able to make a meeting at the same time was to get everyone together for some sort of pre-recorded fun. So what I saw happen a couple times was the idea of a chopped challenge, and essentially what they did, and they got a few of their key executives involved. If you've ever watched the TV show Chopped, it was very similar to how the TV show set up. Everyone got a basket of mystery ingredients, and they all had to make a main course meal using these ingredients. And it was just a lot of fun. It was, I saw them, one account chose to keep it with their executives to show that that senior management support, which is really key to a successful campaign. But I also saw it be used as a way to bring together different levels of management and staff all together in one room who otherwise might not get to interact with each other a whole lot. So definitely probably something I'll see again this year, because I think they said that they definitely want to do it again and they want to do it 10 times as better. But it was a lot of fun last year. Just it was all about the fun last year and how can we have fun in a safe way from home.
Right.
I think I just want to add on Andrew's there just to tell everybody as well. It can be something as crazy as a chopped evening and lots of fun, or something as simple as a plane toss. I know one of my accounts, it's the first time I've been in meetings with them this year. All they speak about is the plane toss. Like, they're just so excited about it because it's such a momental part of their campaign that has grown like to serious competition, and raises so much as well as campaign dollars.
Great, thank you. I know with one of the campaigns that was hosted last year, they did the Between Two Ferns, which I heard was a great success too. If anybody knows of that interview sessions, yeah, it's I'm hoping that more people do it just so I can sit in on the fun for that one. Okay, and oh, laundry night. What's that? Laundry night
Oh,
fashion show at work.
I love that, Benita. I love it, love it, love it. That sounds great.
Okay. All right. So I just thought, what's the still brainstorming how it would work? Yes, for sure. Sorry, I'm just reading in the chats here.
I'll just interject. Sorry, Amber, that's
Yep.
an excellent idea. And I would love to discuss that more tomorrow if you guys have a chance to come back, and then maybe Benita, we can even help get some ideas together on how that would work. Cause that sounds like a lot of fun. I would definitely like to see people doing a laundry fashion show.
I totally agree.
Or a fashion show in Fishot's closet might be good too, right? Yes, and like Jen said, tomorrow it's going to be a lot more interactive of sharing ideas and stuff like that. So I just wanted to pause today for a moment for us to be able to share a little bit. We can move on to the next slide. Okay, so make the ask and follow up. The number one reason why people don't give is that they're not asked. A lot of people just assume that they've read the email or they've seen the poster, all that type of stuff. So it's good just to ask somebody if they have given before, what their interests are moving forward. So asking and the follow up. So sometimes people just want to think about and decide what direction they want to go or how much they want to give, if they either want it to be coming off their pay or for it to be one lump sum. So the follow-up is always key, just because we know everybody gets busy in their day-to-day emails and meetings and all that type of stuff. So it is always good to have the follow-up. Next slide. And close the deal. I know it can be uncomfortable for lots of people. But again, it's just sharing the stories and the successes that have happened out in the community with helping people. We're here to make sure that we give back to help those in our community that, you know, right from, like I was saying, from seniors programs to our initiatives with youth, especially with mental health this year that came across quite a bit. So there's lots of new avenues that we're going into. So it's just sharing the stories, the impact speaker stories, again, reaching out to us again, and making sure everybody knows where, you know, United Way is giving back into community. Okay, next slide. And the thank you. Obviously, thank you to everybody. You always want to make sure that there's, even in closing in your campaign, that there's a huge thank you to even yourselves and your team for taking the time to put together campaigns. Thanking anybody that's stepped into volunteering, and even the people that are even helping, say, collect the submitting of the documents, all that type of stuff. We want to make sure that everybody's thanked during this process. Oh, there we go. I can pass it on to Lena. Sorry, sometimes I can be a fast talker, so.
No, perfect, Amber. Before we pass to Lena, I do thank you very much, Amber. I do see a question in the chat as well. So I'd like to probably answer it while we're here. And we have a question from Kristen. There has been chatter in our office regarding the change of United Way BC, worries about how we ensure that money is given to communities they stay in. How do we explain these? Okay, if the CMs that wants to answer.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. This is the lightning.
Thank you, Roger.
We got
there we go.
First, so.
Perfect. Go, Roger.
Yeah, well, and you know, I won't have the single definitive answer, so others please chime in. But yeah, thanks for that question. So first, just to bring everyone up to speed, United Way British Columbia is our amalgamated entity. So back in July, 6 of the United Way regions in BC officially merged into a single United Way organization, henceforth known as United Way British Columbia. We are now one, and this organization represents all 6 of the regions across BC. But yeah, this is a great question, and the concerns are valid, right? Sometimes there is that curiosity, right? That especially, across the 6 regions, they are not equal in size. For example, Lower Mainland, by the measure of our annual revenue and our investments, is bigger than the other regions. So sometimes there can be concerns about, well, does that impact how much funding or resources the other regions receive? The good news is that no. One of the core tenets of the merger and amalgamation is to preserve the funding and resources that each region is already receiving, so there would be no decrease. And in many cases, actually, by creating this amalgamation, some regions actually stand to receive more through their campaigns. The reason being is that now we can be more effective and efficient in our province-wide coordination. So many of our workplace campaigns that run across the province, they can actually reach more of their employees more effectively and potentially increase the amount of pledging and fundraising in those respective areas as well. So to answer your question, no, the money being given to the communities in the regions would not decrease. In fact, it could stand to increase through this recent amalgamation.
And yeah, I'll just chime in too. I think just further to what Roger was saying, that it still goes by postal code as well. So wherever you're located within your postal code, that is where the donations stay. So if you happen to live in Kamloops and that is where your postal code is, then that is where your donation will be staying. So the short answer is no, and then the long answer is what Roger just said. It's a little bit of mine. But
the short answer is much better, actually. But yeah, so true, and I should not have skipped that. Local giving, local results remains
exactly.
the core mission, or what we do at United Way. Local giving, local results.
And I think that a really good example of it, though, as well, is the Wildfire Recovery Fund. So immediately following the fire in Lytton, and I think the same day that it happened, even somebody was on the phone. It was our CEO was actually on the phone to several of the co-workers, and that was July 1st that it happened. It was July 1st that the amalgamation happened, and it was July 3rd, I think, that the fund was set up. There was a substantial donation from United Way, and that money is going throughout the entire province wherever there are wildfires and people are needing some recovery funds. So it's a grant system that's set up. Agencies can apply for those grants and get the money that they need to help people throughout for the recovery from the fires. So I think it's an awesome idea of a province-wide effort that's they were just able to mobilize, and within days had something set up and a system in place whereby people could be getting funds to help with the recovery. So
fantastic example. That's very true.
Okay, thank you, Jen. Thank you, Roger.
So thank you again, Amber, for walking us through those 8 steps. It's a lot of material to cover. And just as a reminder, in addition to the excellent information that Amber and CM's provided just now, all of this, the 8 steps and other notes pertaining to the 8 steps are available through our campaign guide as well. So the campaign guide is a virtual sort of PDF resource that is housed within our online campaign toolkit. My colleague Lena will point to it shortly. But yeah, just to have everyone rest assured, you can refer to the 8 steps afterwards and follow up with more thoughts and questions. With that said, I didn't really see many questions come up during the 8 steps, and that can either mean everyone already knows everything and we can skip right ahead, or before we go to the resources section, maybe we'll just take a few minutes here and see if there were any questions around the 8 steps. I'm putting those 8 steps in the chat right now, just as a refresher on what they are. And again, now's your chance to ask questions pertaining to them. Feel free to use the raise your hand feature in the reactions function, or popular question in the chat, as we have another one coming in. Regarding clarification on the postal codes, does it use work locations or home locations? So because we are dealing primarily with workplace campaigns, we are using work locations. So it's, yeah, the locations of where people are working. Recognizing, again, since last year and a lot of people working from home, yeah, it can be a bit tricky, but traditionally we go by work location.
Thank you, Roger. Yeah, and as Roger said, we're going to pause for any questions on the 8 steps that Roger put in. I know that Amber and I have done such a phenomenal job that there's no questions, but we welcome them.
Right, thank you. So there was actually a question that came in through the chat just before I posted the 8 steps from Bonnie.
And she just raised her hand too.
Oh, amazing. Bonnie, did you want to speak for yourself, or would you like me to read your question?
Sure, I don't mind speaking by myself. Thank you so much for presenting. It's wonderful to see a new team and the collaboration together. The concern I would like to understand is, what are the marketing strategies and interests to reach out to areas that do not have high campaign uptake, because rural areas may be left out, or large corporations aren't actually phoning you or phoning United Way, but there is actually great opportunity. So how does the United Way BC plan to advocate on behalf of communities that are on the lower side of knowledge?
That's a good question. I'm opening it up to the CMs. I can't be the only one to answer all.
Thank you, Bonnie. Well, for me personally, I think I would speak from the lens of knowing, just coming into the campaign world from February to now. And when I have like low barrier campaigns, I know that at the end of the day, it's about the impact and what we're doing, about being able to show regions and areas what we're doing. It's about advocacy, and also what becomes the voice for our United Way BC is not only the campaign managers and the campaign associates, it's also the, every single volunteer that's part of it. We welcome anybody promoting what we do on any of their social platforms and our work. We're happy to share that information, as Amber mentioned. I think what we'd like to also do is, at the end of the day, relationships are so important. We do rely also on our cabinet to introduce us to new relationships. I do have a few new relationships in the that's upcoming. I do municipal and education sector, just so you know. We have 2 municipalities that are not part of our workplace campaigns, much smaller municipalities, but it excites me that thanks to this cabinet and conversations and showing our impact of especially what we've done over the last 1.5 years versus all the amazing work over 90 odd years. I think what's been great is to show what we do and then being able to speak to it transparently. So I see the growth for me, I see the growth in promoting, having people who are advocates, and just providing them with the right tools as well.
And I think Morgan wanted to say a couple of words as well, as somebody who's a new member of our team. Morgan, go ahead.
Yes.
Sure. Hi, I'm Morgan and I'm in Kelowna, so I'm representing the interior. And yeah, we have a few other colleagues that, just so you know, everyone that was in their office before is still in their same position and same region. So it's really amazing to be able to leverage the back office, efficiencies, but then we can spend more time on the impact on the ground. So what it looks like is having some of that local stories, but they're still being developed. So our toolkits will still have a section for each region. It won't all be Lower Mainland focused in materials. It will for sure touch base on priorities that are different. Like in the Okanagan, mental health and addictions is one that we see very important, the need and also our programs and where our funding goes. So I just want to tell you we do know like the other areas are being addressed. We are just a little slower on that because it's still, some of it's still being developed, and we're not forgetting anyone in the regions. But as you ask these things, it really helps us to say, yeah, we want to address like where you are and what you're going through as well. And of course, like everyone already reiterated that what's raised local stays local, and we do it down to the postcode just the same. So even with the wildfire funds and with anything we do, but some of the programs are different. And then where you do have offices that might have a head office and some smaller locations or just across our smaller regions, we can gladly collaborate there, or we can continue to do them however works best for your team. And so we definitely want the local engagement on any level, if that helps.
Thank you, Morgan.
And I pipe in really quickly too, just as another, I'm Christina, and I'm in Nanaimo, but I'm responsible for Central and Northern Vancouver Island. So I absolutely, work with those communities up in Port Hardy, all the way from, Chemainus, all the way to Port Hardy. So again, I think that this has just been such a wonderful opportunity, as Morgan, just to reiterate, that we can come together, and share those resources, which gives us more time to be able to focus on our own communities and making sure that we're out there, whether it's virtual these days, or, if I'm heading up to Port Hardy to go and see some workplaces there. I just think that this has, been really, really exciting, and, it frees up even more time for me to be able to be getting out to all those small and rural communities. Just wanted to pipe in as well.
Thanks, Christina. Thanks, Christina. I think, Bonnie, that again, obviously, this even reiterates just from hearing from Morgan and Christina on this amalgamation where together we can do more. And this is what that proves, like these little, the smaller communities where our impact's lower, that we could not have reached now, thanks to the fact that we are now United Way BC, we can do more, thanks to obviously amazing work through Christina and Morgan. No, you're welcome.
Thank you, Bishad. So you did mention something that I thought was great. I mean, all of you women on the ground, that is going to be an important part. The local staff are still local. They're representing the area. And it's great to see to Christina speaking of rural communities and the island. Bishad, are you opening it up for people that are inquiring about the United Way BC, phone you or email you in regards to the municipal side of things? And the reason why I ask that is because in doing presentations, when my cat is making noise, let me just deal with that.
Oh, pets, I love them.
It sounded like we're a pet-friendly group. My
Such a cute cat.
Not listening to the do not be on the table thing, and my water was nearby. So,
I love it.
Thanks, guys. I do want to say that when the municipality are on board, the volume speaks loudly, because let's say a Boys and Girls Club offers to join a community, and they already know who some of the contacts can be to help them start it. And I know United Way have been incredible and pivotal in helping grow the organizations that they want to partner with. It's not just here's the money and I'll run. So is that a contact that we as a group and a collective here that are on this panel right now and listening to you can contact you about that specific group line? I mean, Christina is saying she'll represent all of the island, and that's wonderful, and there's a team, but municipal has a different way about speaking, I would think. And is that what your role is?
So firstly, I'm going to start, Bonnie, by, that's my email address. I just put it in the chat so you have it as well. So where I deal with on the municipal side, sector workplace accounts. That being said, I completely agree with you. And I've learned that in my time, that when you have a connection with municipal, there's no doubt that there's a better connection from top to bottom, should I say, in the pyramid system, and therefore the connections are better. I would be very happy to take on any questions or relationships to build within any municipalities, especially in the smaller areas as well. I mean, I would love to work even closer when it comes to my colleagues with Morgan and Chelsea and Christina to develop this even better. So I would love that. Thank you.
And yeah, and I as well, definitely, Bonnie, I'm relatively new. So I've just started about 2 months ago. So I'm just in the process of, reaching out to all of the organizations that participate in campaigns. So I will certainly be in touch with you and everybody in the island. And it's my goal to make it out, not just, if it permits this year, to definitely get out, to the north of the island. So I'll see you there.
That's wonderful. Thank you for the introduction.
And just to add one more thing, we do have a new Provincial Director of Government Relations and Programs, who's Kahir Lalji. So I will provide his contact as well so that it can be coordinated to the best of our ability.
Thanks, Morgan.
Thank you. So last chance, wanted to see if there were any further questions around those 8 steps that we learned about. Of course, you can ask questions later on as well if one pops into your head. But yeah, I wanted to create this time and opportunity for questions around the 8 steps. Okay, enough awkward silence has passed. So in that case, I'm going to pass it over to Lena, who's going to bring us home with resources. Take it away.
Thanks, Roger. So I'm going to start off with some awkward silences. So we've heard, more about what United Way is currently doing, and thank you for all that information. We've gone through all the different steps for a successful campaign, but then what do you need to make it happen? So what sort of tools and resources, as you're thinking, and some of you are experienced employee campaign chairs before, some of you are new. When you're listening to us, what are things that you think you need or know you need? Oh, hello. All right. I'm going to share my screen soon, so you can. I don't have to see myself this big. But I wanted to start it off and see if folks are thinking. Hopefully, we've already thought of what the tools and resources you need are, and I'm going to go through what we have to offer. But I just wanted to get our brains kind of going and thinking about if there's anything that you see or think of that you need. I'll start it off. Something that you will need is some way to donate. So either a pledge form, paper, or an online platform like ePledge or Salesforce Philanthropy Cloud, which we can talk to you about your options there. But you're going to need to make sure that there's a way for somebody to donate. What other tools or resources do you think you need to make this all happen in your workplace? You can put it in the chat too. Popcorn style. Somebody said volunteers. Okay, yeah, so that's a very good one. I often think, when I think of tools and resources, just like the hard copies of posters and thermometers, but we also need people and volunteers to actually agree to make this all happen. Communication channels, awesome. Yeah, so that's generally a communications plan. You want to think about the way in which you're communicating all of this information to the employees in your workplace. Is it through an intranet? Is it through emails, posters, or meetings, in-person meetings, talking to people one-on-one? What are your communication channels, and how are you getting this information out to everybody that a campaign is even happening? What other resources or tools do you need? Last awkward pause, I promise. Stories, nice. Awesome. Yeah, so every year we have new campaign stories. I'm going to show you some of ours this year. And they're always evolving. So we always want, and I'll show you where to get the most up-to-date information about what United Way's work is in community as well. And donation tracking, cool. Yeah, we've got all sorts of different ways to do that with the help of your campaign associate or your online platform if you're using it. There's different ways to do donation tracking, and that's one way to be able to fill in your goal sheet and track and monitor how the performance is going to hopefully motivate folks to hit that goal. Excellent. So there's so many different things. I would say one of your, and I wouldn't call myself a tool, but one of your biggest resources and tools is your campaign manager. So that person is there to help you, and their campaign associate team that supports them during campaigns. So just so folks know, in about 2 weeks, we're going to get about 30 people who are seconded or loaned or sponsored to us on board for the 4-month campaign period. And they bulk up our teams so that we actually have the ability to be in multiple places at once. When campaigns, some days, it seems like the beginning, mid-October is when campaigns are launching every single day. Tens and tens of them are launching, and then it goes, and 1 week is like, it feels like 100 campaigns are launching. And that's how we can have all the support for them, is through our campaign associates and campaign managers like myself. So we're the biggest tools you got. And when it comes to having, so I'm going to just share my screen now. Let's just see here. Right, so, whoops, I don't know why, oh, there we go. Sorry, everybody, my computer, there we go. So this is just like a little bit of a snapshot of some of the things. Campaign guide has been pointed out a few times. There's like gift and impact examples, campaign posters, pretty much anything you can think of in terms of physical things. The biggest place to find all those is your campaign toolkit. So I'm going to access that here, but actually first I'm going to show everybody where some of our campaign stories are. So we'll put this link into the chat. And I think Morgan mentioned it, like we're all working on stories locally, but this is the United Way BC's stories this year. They're live. We have 3 different stories, and you can get the long form here. There'll be more materials that support this available to folks. So we'll post this in the chat. And then we have our digital campaign, our workplace toolkit. Who here, I guess you can kind of may have heard of this before. The digital toolkit is where it all lives. So there's the campaign guide. Again, it comes up. And we have our steps and all the different details. These are drop downs. So for planning your campaign, we have details about how different special events and virtual event ideas list.
Sorry, Lena, just on the screen share, are you walking us through the guide right now? Because we can only see your PowerPoint.
Oh, really? Okay,
FYI.
sorry about that.
It sounded like you were taking us on an adventure through the guide, so I want to make sure we didn't miss it. There we go. Yeah,
there, okay. Sorry about that. That's funny. Okay, so this is the workplace campaign toolkit. I'll just get started here. So it looks like this, and you've got your planning, your campaign option. It's a drop down. There's so many different materials here to look through, to read, to watch. It also includes information about, or just access to some of our physical forms, pay period or tax breaks, digital gift examples, and then talking about online giving, which I mentioned, Salesforce Philanthropy Cloud and ePledge, which we're happy to talk about with you if you're interested. But there are, if you care just to look through what our options are. And then there's creative, I don't know why it always does this, but creative materials. We've got our posters this year, which look excellent. We have our thermometers. All the things that I would hope you need are here. But I want to make sure that people know that if there's anything that they don't see that they think they need, they can ask us, because either it may exist or we may not have created it yet. And this is something that was an excellent idea. And given the chance, we would love to be able to create it for you. So there's our YouTube channel. We have a couple highlighted videos. And, if you really spend a chunk of time on here, you'll be able to see how all the different things that you can use to create your workplace campaign. Here, I want to highlight, we've got our stories. I guess I didn't show everybody this. This is our stories this year, where we have our 3. But then also I wanted to show people our blog, which is news in our community. Every couple of weeks, we have a new story, and it talks about things as they're happening. They're up to date. It's all going on. This is the best place to find details about what we're doing. And people often will just go through maybe a couple of months worth of posts and can pull really incredible stories to then highlight during their workplace campaign. So as you can see, this is just going on and on. We've got So we've got our photo resources, engagement opportunities. I'm just going really through it because I want folks to know what there is. More digital tools when it comes to pledge forms, logos, our social media channels, and then labor tools too for if you're involved on your union side of things, to have the support of your local union on board as well. So I'm just going to cancel the share. Sorry, everybody. It looks like there we go, stop share. Oh, thank you. That's awesome, Roger. I'm also going to put in the workplace campaigns stories in here.
Can I just pipe in really quick, Lena? Just because I saw it, I know that you're showing, it's still at the top, it just says UWLM. So as you said, it's, Lower Mainland, but I just want everybody who, anybody who's on the island or the other regions to know that the websites are still active, so ours, so United Way, UWC NVI is still active. It's still being updated with local stories from our region. Our toolkit as well has been updated there as well. So while we all have the same toolkit, essentially, they are still, somewhat personalized to each region. So you showed some great examples of, what is on yours, but I encourage everybody else, who are outside of those regions to continue to visit, your websites, because we also have some awesome blog stories and we're constantly updated. So be sure to check it out as well, because it's still there and it's not going anywhere.
Great. Thank you so much, Christina. So yeah, that's essentially, I just wanted to give everybody an idea. We sent the link to the stories this year. We have our digital online toolkit, but your biggest, resources are the people that you get to work with the campaign associates or your campaign managers. Like I said, if you can't find something, ask us, because maybe it's the chance for us to create something brand new to help you out. But I want to just open it up and see if there's any questions about resources or tools or where to access them, or anything that you might see that you think we need more of.
I think while people are still coming up with the questions, then I think a really good topic as well to bring up is the impact speakers that we can have at your disposal. Very important to know that we have our impact speakers that you can book as well for your kickoff, let it be virtually or in person as well. We're working on those as we speak, so please utilize the impact speakers as well.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, well, I hope I've given oh yeah, Bonnie.
Has there been campaigns starting at a location where a Zoom presenter had been the storyteller of the day? Has that worked efficiently? And can you run us through how, if we speak to a corporation, what that would look like to give them the, the emotional impact and the understanding? How has that worked now that COVID has brought in this new opportunity for everyone to realize virtual is going to be impactful?
Well, I'm happy to speak to that one, Bonnie. I'm a pure example of that. I'll tell you why. Last year, when I joined United Way in February, I joined as a community builder. When we hit campaign season, I was one of the community builders who was invited to be an impact speaker. And I spoke at several accounts. And we used all different virtual platforms. And I can tell you they were still super impactful, not only hearing directly from the campaign associate or the campaign manager who was in the meeting, but also from the account as well, just reaching out to say that it really made a difference. I do think that a live impact speaker would be, let's be honest, the new live impact speaker in a virtual world, very much, I think we've realized, serves the same purpose as in person as well. But it's super impactful.
Sean, thanks, Bonnie. There was a question from Scott in the chat where he's expressed interest in creating a corporate volunteer experience during the campaign. Fantastic idea, and absolutely volunteerism is something that we want to encourage as a way to engage your colleagues and your fellow staff during campaign. The best way to do that is to work through your campaign manager. So on our end, we have created a bit of a menu when it comes to corporate volunteer opportunities. These are, because as you can imagine, given the sheer volume of requests and the variety of activities, it becomes very unrealistic to try to create, a brand new customized experience for every single group. But what we can offer is we've done the work with our partner agencies ahead of time to identify existing needs in the community, oftentimes ongoing needs in the community, and we've created activities around those. So, for example, it could be packing and delivering hampers or hygiene kits. It could be writing letters or cards of encouragement to isolated seniors or after-school program kids, participants. So, we have these pre-built corporate volunteer opportunities that have been done and rolled out relatively easily on a larger scale. And the best way to get that ball rolling is to express your interest to the campaign manager, and then we can take it from there. Another question, how much notice do you need for booking an impact speaker? We know, right? we know. So I was just hoping someone else would speak instead of me, but
I can chime in, Roger. Sorry.
Yeah, thanks, Jen.
I was just going to say, as much notice as possible. That is the quick answer. However, it really is going to depend on where you are and what you're looking for and who's available. So we do ask for some lead time, but typically I found that even having a couple of weeks was enough time to be able to find somebody that was going to suit your needs. And we do have various options available. So again, because it's virtual, we have more people to choose from. If you're looking something specific for an area, that might take a little bit more time. But there is an online form that can be filled out, and your campaign manager can point that to you, or your campaign associate can point you to where to go for that. It's easily findable on the website as well. You just have to type in impact speaker, and the options will come up for you as far as how to submit your request for that. I found that I walked through it a lot with my campaigns last year. We actually worked together, or I asked them some questions and was able to get the information from them, and we did it online together, kind of thing, so that we had the immediate requests in there. And those usually we did those in one of our first or second meetings that we had to talk a little bit more in depth about campaign after the campaign committee was set up, and they had a little bit more idea of what they were looking for. So that's the long answer.
Yeah, but I do agree with Jen. I would go the shorter answer, as soon as possible. Also because there's so many campaigns running collectively at the same time, and everyone's booking, and we'd like to get, obviously, each account exactly what they'd like. So the sooner we get it in, the better to have it locked in. If we have any more questions, I think we're just going to open it up to any questions. You're welcome to raise a hand, put it in a chat. And if we don't have any more questions, we'll give you the biggest gift. That's the gift of time. Oh, there we go. We have a question from James. Are impact speakers totally virtual this year or available in person? Great question this year. Great question, James. It's going to be a bit of both this year. It's a hybrid. We've been working very closely with all the impact speakers to find out who's available virtual, who's available in person. We're also looking at a different avenue of also maybe some virtual pre-recorded impact speaks as well, to make maybe an impact speak that you might want for your account more readily available. Like if you want something, for example, on seniors specifically, and we don't have the speaker available because they're speaking somewhere else, we might have it recorded, and it could possibly work just as effectively in a virtual world. But to your question, James, it's going to be a mix for sure. And again, if it's in person, let's get that out even quicker to get everyone there.
Yeah, there was a follow-up question. Can we set what we need in terms of whether the speaker is virtual or not? Yes, absolutely. So part of the form that you would complete online would ask for, of course, the logistical, date, time, location of your presentation, and then it would ask for your preference as well. So is it virtual? Is it in person? Do you have a preference for the topic that the speaker would present on, right? Is it a certain type of work that United Way does that you want to hear about? And we would take all of that into account and use that in our search for the right speaker for you.
Thanks, Roger. If we have any more questions. CMs, if you feel there's anything we should add to like resources that's important that we should mention to all these amazing volunteers on this call today, please, your chance to chime in.
Jenny wanted us to quickly chat about Climb Up as well and let people know that that was an engagement opportunity for people. So last year, you may remember that we started up Climb Up, which replaced our tech grind, which was our in-person actual hike up gross grind. And last year we did some steps per day over a period of 10 days. We've doubled that amount of steps this year. It's only 4,200 steps, which honestly I do between my desk and the kitchen and my desk and the washroom every day. So I feel like 4,200 steps is not a lot, but it is a phenomenal activity to do as a group. You can do it wherever you are. There's a website that we can plug in, put in here. I think Jenny provided us a link if somebody wants to copy and paste that in there, or I can shortly. It can be done by team. You can challenge other organizations in your area. You can, you do fundraising for it. So it's a team, you do a $100 donation per person. You can create any number of people on that team. And like I said, you can challenge other organizations if you want, or you can just do it internally and challenge each other within your organization. But it is a way for people to get outside, to do some walks safely where and when they can, to get to see some of the areas that they are in where it is still safe to do so. And then it is a fundraiser for United Way. It's also fun, actually. I did it last year, and because the way the steps worked, it was actually equal to a half marathon, and this year it's equal to a marathon. And I had tried to do a marathon this year, so I'm going to use this as my marathon. I'm just not going to tell anybody that it took me 10 days to get to that marathon because I need to finish my marathon and check it off my bucket list.
That'll be the fine print that nobody has to know.
Yeah,
about,
exactly.
So.
Yes.
And on a sort of provincial and regional note, we're happy to say that this year, this Climb Up event has been scaled up and scaled out to across the regions as well. So Vishad put in the link for the Lower Mainland specific landing page. I'm just putting in the link now for the general page that has additional links to each of the regions as well. So great news. Wherever you are in BC, you can pull together a team and take on this Climb Up challenge this year.
Totally, it's tons of fun. It's a great one to, although we technically apart, to still be together in some way. I've created mine with my community out here, and we just walk socially distance in the afternoon, but it's a nice interactive piece to still know we're together in all of this. So I love it.
I know somebody who did their steps on a treadmill too. So you don't even need to go outside if you don't want to.
Thanks for that one. If there's anything else any of the other CMs would like to add in, I think I'd like to thank my colleagues, Amber and Lena, for today. Thank you, Roger, Jen, and all the CMs that have joined in, Christina, and also Morgan. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time as well. I'm about to give you back 15 minutes of your day. So that's how amazing we are at United Way BC, giving you back the gift of time. So thank you for making the time today. Thank you for being part of this. We look forward to those who are joining us tomorrow for session 2. That will be led by the amazing Roger and Jen C. We all be part of it as well. So look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Again, if you have any questions from today that you still would like to bring forward tomorrow, you'd like to give it 24 hours to think about it, please do so. We'd welcome it tomorrow as well. So on behalf of our team, thank you very much.